My name's Chris Wood. This is my 10 C's for $10 video. Okay, Dollar Tree. Won't focus, but 1054. And today's date. For the 10 C's, I went with steel bowl, 100% cotton hand towel for the cotton material, obviously. Candling device, 16 candles, 300 matches. Cover, this is an interesting one. I figured I could buy a tarp or I could buy a drop cloth or something, but plastic wrap, we'll see what happens. Cutting tool. For the needle, it's obviously sewing kit, unlimited. 3 things of jute twine for $1. Seems like a decent deal. Then whopping 10 yards of duct tape for $1. Now, as you see, I'm in a sling, can't really do much, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and set up, but there's enough deadfall and everything around here where I really don't need to worry about much of cutting or anything, but I'm going to set up a little shelter here and see what happens. Oh, and I also got a can of spaghetti and meatballs that I figure container and lunch. What I did here is broke off some small saplings from over there, and I'm actually using the duct tape to lash them together since, you know, tying knots doesn't really work so well right now. So I'll get, like I said, shelter set up, and then I'll get a fire started, and I'll show you guys a couple tricks with the needle and with what you can use the duct tape and matches for. So here is the most redneck rig shelter on earth. We got duct tape lashings, about waist high, but it'll work if you have to make it work. If I had to make it work, it would work. And still got a little bit left over, so I want to enclose the side or something. I could, but this can also, the reason I picked this up is because I am in a sling. And if I had to make another sling, the easiest thing to use would be something like this. A little bit of this, a little bit of cargo tape, I could do it. Not that I want to, but I could. Yeah, so next I'll start on a fire and get some things going, and then check back in with you guys. It's 1 o'clock now. Okay, here's what I want to show you guys. Take a bunch of matches, you wrap some duct tape around them. The duct tape will actually start burning, and it'll work as an extender, you know, once it gets nice and hot. And it's one little trick that I picked up from my grandfather years ago. Figure I'll pass that on. It's a little bit of knowledge. I got my fig fire. I started the same way over here in the bucket because there's no open fires right now in my area, so it's an enclosed fire, see? Besides for that one. Just, we'll forget about that one. But next thing is I'm going to try to show you guys a trick magnetizing a needle using nothing but your knife, and I'm going to see if it'll work this time, because, you know, this isn't a very good knife. Oh, and you know, 105. So we'll see how long that burns. I mean, either way, that's more than enough to, you know, throw some smalls and stuff on and get it going. So
Okay, it is about 3 minutes later, and that just finally went out. So that worked for a good long time. I got water in here. I'm gonna try to find a stick and then try to magnetize this needle, or a leaf or something that'll work.
Okay, this is a pain to do technically one-handed, but all you do, you take it like this, you right up your needle on the tip of your knife, $50 to $100 times. So I'm gonna do that now, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Now magnetized the needle. Get it to stop floating in the center here. I do believe. Because it's kind of settling like that. I can't really do this with. There we go. This is going to be a disaster. But you got that right there. I can't hold that much longer. God damn it.
So that works, but yeah, that's all you do. You take the tip of your knife and you go over the needle a bunch of strokes, and mind you, that took 2 minutes to do. So in an emergency, it'd work. Now, am I going to say it's the best thing to do? No. As you see, I brought my real compass out just to make sure. But I did find also at my dollar store that I picked up about 3 weeks ago this cheap little compass. It is literally cheap little compass. Okay. Now, as you see, it points north. But would I trust something that's a toy? Because that's where I found it, was the toy section. Would I trust my life to this? Absolutely not. But it gives me general direction, and I know it works. So, but no open fires, but you know. I mean, really, it's all what you can do. Now, would I want to sleep in a saran wrap shelter for a long time? No. I'd rather have a tarp, which they sold there, or a poncho, which you could use. But this, I mean, you could make cordage out of it just by wrapping it up. You can make, obviously, a shelter. Like I said, I could make a sling out of it. You can do quite a bit with it. So why not? I mean, I wasn't sure if it was actually going to stay up, but worst case scenario, if I had to do something and I had to stay here, I can set this up. I can take some of the pine tree, put the boughs right down on here. I got the duct tape holding it up, so it'd work. So, but steel container, it'll boil with. This is actually starting to boil in the can, so lunch will be ready soon. I mean, 16 candles for $1, you can't beat it. The jute twine is, you see, I opened, but haven't really used it because, well, tying knots, I figured out I can't really do that well right now. So, the knife, it's very flimsy. Would I trust this? No. It's better than nothing. That's what it comes down to, is this is better than nothing. And if I had to start somewhere with something just to get by, sure, why not? I mean, I can take this real easy. Actually, let's see if I can do this on camera. Fold it in half. back again. Don't know how this camera even works, so I know where the pause button is, start and stop, that's about it. Some of the cardboard. Cardboard from the saran wrap tube. Wrap it with duct tape. There's a sheath to protect not only the knife, but my clumsy self from the knife. As long as you don't push it out the back end. Not only that, but I got this serrated edge here, which I don't know if it'll actually do anything, but since I'm thinking outside the box, I'll be. It's flimsy, but it technically could be used as a saw, so I got a free another cutting tool, along with, you know, the knife, the little scissors that are in the sewing kit, needles, pins, all sorts of other stuff. But I got basically a free mini saw out of the deal. But I mean, that's about it. You know, this thing is 16 by 25. Actually, what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to use it right now to pad inside my slinks. My wrist is starting to hurt. But that's what it is learning to use what you have. You see? Ten items in the fire. I mean, you know, steel container, it's gonna boil. I got that's it. I mean, there's so much you can do with what there is here. I mean, I got 3 bags out of the deal because I had them triple bag it, because why not? So there's 3 ways to carry my items. These, you're not going to get 300 fires out of it, but whatever. I mean, seriously. Plastic, you can use fire extender, whatever. You know, the cargo tape, obviously. I'll put that needle away before I lose it. I mean, my only thing is it's difficult for me to do stuff right now. But I know that I can at least get a shelter. So it's even harder to set up than a tarp. Got a fire going, I got my lunch ready. I could boil water, but it's me, so I have my Mountain Dew with me. But you know, I got cordage. I could make it work. I could I can make this work, but am I going to on an everyday basis? Absolutely not.
That being said, I mean that's it. It's a starting point. It's a good way to learn, to hone knowledge. I mean, I've been outdoors all my life, but I haven't been dealing with any of the 10 C's or anything the way it's broken down. I mean, I've always carried something along the lines: compass, knife, a poncho, and usually rope or something with me. But I was usually on horseback, so it's a whole different ball game walking through the woods, figuring out what is good to carry, what's not good to carry. I can't carry everything I used to, so that all comes into play. Anyways, y'all have a good day.